Swedish musician Ove Thörnqvist also didn't get their approval, since his music was too American in their view, and in the hostile climate, he moved to Spain where he lived for a number of years.
Kom hit och spill. Dagny, 5 droppar till. Hör mitt hjärta sjunger tralldill-dill.
Naturally, the class warfare protests wouldn't have been complete without always reminding IKEA founder Ingvar Kamprad how he was exploiting the working class by hiring people to work for his furniture company. Provocative American so-called artist Andrei Serrano was invited to have one of his exhibitions displayed at Swedish art gallery Kulturen in September of 2007. The exhibition consisted of images of people in perverted sexual acts, and there was no strict age limit on who could enter, though the gallery recommended that no one under 6 years of age should see it. There was outrage among Swedes that taxpayer money had funded this garbage, and on the 5th of October 4 men vandalized the exhibition, destroying most of the so-called artwork. As if inviting this exhibition wasn't enough, in the press release the gallery wrote after the incident, they likened what had happened to a terrorist attack. The attack is in its brutal fury to compare with what takes place at, for example, a bank robbery. The attack on Kulturen was an act of terror. The destroyed artworks testified to how extremists in today's Sweden through the use of open force attempt to strike fear to achieve political aims. Ideological motives may vary, yet terror as a method is always the same. The gallery is a part of the open society, and the open society must not yield to terror. These people sure don't hold anything back, and to think I thought terror was this. Yet now I know that it's as much of a terrorist act when people die, as when pictures of perverted acts are torn apart. Swedish art galleries have on numerous occasions displayed child pornography and other sexual perversions disguised as art, paid for by the taxpayers. In this cultural gutter, should it come as a surprise to anyone that Swedish taxpayers actually pay people to urinate on the ground? That's the art performed by Itziar Okaris. On the 9th of May 2007, she received a little over $1,000 and travel expenses paid for by the taxpayers to urinate on stage. The depravity hasn't expressed itself only through the culture, but also through legislation. Sweden's abortion laws are probably the most extreme in the world. While completely unregulated abortions until the end of the 18th week of the pregnancy isn't very notable compared to the rest of the Western world, the requirements on doctors and medical staff are. Under Swedish law, if you work in these fields, you're required to perform abortions when asked to, and if risking losing your job wasn't enough, you can even be sentenced to prison as a doctor if you attempt to prevent an abortion. Paragraph 4 of the abortion law requires that a doctor refusing to perform an abortion immediately notifies the authorities. If he or she doesn't, paragraph 10 permits sentencing the doctor or nurse to up to 6 months in prison. A recent abortion case really tested the conscience of the medical staff involved. Swedish practice allows the woman to find out the gender of her baby before a potential abortion, and a woman was asking to have her second baby in a row aborted because she wanted a son instead of a daughter. The chief physician at the hospital inquired the health authorities whether doctors really have to service these requests for gender abortion. Yet these authorities won't budge. There will be no restrictions on the rights of women to have abortions, even if they're allowed to first learn of the gender and base their decisions on that. Sweden has also now become a destination for people who want to perform gender abortions, yet aren't legally allowed to check gender and then have abortions in their home countries, with a couple of recorded cases so far. Hence, the government leaves the doctor with two options. perform the abortion, or go to prison.